Hi, my name is Julian Dvorak. I'm a student here at Triton College in the hospitality department, specifically culinary arts, and today I'm going to be making us some broccoli cheddar soup. We're going to start right off the bat. Got our butter here. We're going to add that into the pan here. So once we got the butter, it's starting to melt here. We're going to add what's called a mirepoix, which is onions, carrots, and celery. To that, however, a little twist on the mirepoix, we're going to be adding our broccoli stems. So most of the cooking is actually going to be done with the broccoli stems and not the actual florets. They have better structure to them, so they hold up better in terms of cooking. And we are going to sweat these. And at this step, we're just going to add a little bit of salt. Now, you want to season every step of the way here. It's important. To this here, we're going to add a little bit of garlic. And we're really looking for those sort of aromatics, making it fragrant. You can smell all the vegetables cooking. And I mean, right off the bat, you should be able to smell the, crazy flavors coming off this. From here, we're gonna add our flour mixture. So we're gonna create what's called a roux here when we actually work with it. Now, it's super important here to make sure that there are no real clumps and that we're cooking all of the flour off. It's been about 10 minutes or so here. We're gonna add our water. Throw that in there, and we're gonna let this simmer for about 30 to 60 minutes. What we're looking for here is a low simmer. We just want this, an occasional bubble here and there, make sure it's cooking for that entire 30 to 60 minute process. I find that about 50 minutes is the sweet spot, but it depends on your oven and how you're doing. By this point here, it's been simmering for about 30, 60 minutes. I let it go for about 45 here. And there's some steam, there's an occasional bubble coming up on the surface, but nothing crazy. We're not looking for a rolling boil. We're really not trying to overcook this here. So at this point, we're gonna add our fat, our heavy cream. Mix that all in the soup. We're gonna let that cream sit for about 10 minutes or so, and just sort of let it cook off a little bit more here. So it's been about 10, 15 minutes here, and now we've got the star of the show here. We've got our broccoli florets. So we're gonna add these in. Once again, now that we're at a new step, salt it as we go. And then from there, we come in with our immersion blender. Now by this point, the broccoli is mostly cooked, but still not fully cooked because we're gonna blend it up. It's gonna get into smaller pieces and it'll just cook super fast. Now, why is it important that we don't overcook this step specifically? Because green things turn brown when they're overcooked. So unless you want a brown broccoli cheddar soup, you kind of want to make sure that the broccoli is only cooked to where it needs to be. So we're gonna take our immersion blender here. Alrighty, so we're all blended up here. And now we kind of got that really iconic broccoli cheddar sort of feel in there where we've got our yellow with our speckles of green in there. And what's interesting is that we haven't actually added any cheddar yet. Most of the color from a broccoli cheddar soup comes from carrots. They're the most rich in the pigment and they're gonna make that really nice orange color. Now, if you don't have an immersion blender at home, that's fine. You can use a regular blender and you can just transfer it to the blender, blend it all up, get all that broccoli nice and fine, and then transfer back to the bowl. If you got one laying around, an immersion blender, really recommend it. Keep everything right in the pan, make sure it's all cooking at the same time, and you can cook it while you're blending it, which is a real big benefit. Now, from here, we're going to add our cheddar, going back to the blender, just kind of slowly adding it, and you're going to do this about 2 to 3 times, splitting up the cheddar so that it all evenly melts. We're gonna add a little bit of salt once again. We got our broccoli cheddar fully completed. We got those nice flecks in there. And we're ready to start plating. Now I've let this cook for just a little bit longer, just kind of waiting for that color to sort of develop. And if you see with the spatula here, we really have got that nice thick consistency of the broccoli cheddar. It's thickened up significantly from that roux that we added earlier. And we're ready to start plating. So, got my bowl right over here. Got our ladle. Come right here with our broccoli cheddar soup. Clean up the bowl, make it look nice and presentable. We're gonna add a little bit of cheddar. Make sure people know what it is we're working with here. A little bit of cheddar. I like to do a little bit on one side. On the other side, some very small broccoli florets. You know, if you make them too big, you're not going to be able to chew them. It's just going to be uncomfortable. So very small little broccoli florets in there. And that is our broccoli cheddar soup.